I'd love to explain and show how to use Microsoft Keyboard Layout Creator version 1.4 to create a layout for any keyboards with which you can define your own characters using Unicode coding, and which you can use to invent your practically any language or symbolism for a language. In my example, I'm using here a sample as a imaginary Latin alphabet for Egyptian Arabic, and so I've already created the first version of this English United States Emirates. This is what I used as the basis for this keyboard, and then the name, the description I just gave, that this is a Latin Egyptian Arabic keyboard. And before showing, so this is my previous version, how I created is I downloaded this Microsoft Keyboard Creator, and then I have installed it. So here is the Microsoft Keyboard Layout Creator. I just started. It's a very simple application, and the way you can use it, you simply can start defining characters for each of the keys that you have on your keyboard, and you can start it from scratch, or you can use an load existing keyboard. This is exactly what I have done. I just simply used, I think, United States. This is what I used, United States. And then when you have this keyboard, of course, you can see that when a shift is pressed, what characters, when Alt GR Control is used, what characters are defined for that keyboard. And also when you click any of these characters, this is displayed here. This is the VKOM3, and then when you press All, it shows what is the Unicode character that is displayed for that key, and this is how you can define using the Unicode characters for that key, using either with Shift, Control Alt, and Control Alt Shift. So this is how I started to create mine, and then I've already loaded the source file. So this is a load existing keyboard and load the source file. I already created. This is Latin Egypt character, and then loading the keyboard file, clear out all access information, or yes. So this is my Latin Egyptian Arabic, and when I say click A, for example, and when I press All, that you can see that here I kept, of course, the original American English keyboard. So my concept was here that I could use this keyboard as a regular American keyboard, as well as using this Control Alt combination I could enter any specific special letters. In this case, this is the A dot under Unicode letter, small letter, and then when the shift is pressed, this is the capital letter A dot under Unicode character. And this way I defined some of the characters, mostly dots under. However, for G I defined dot above the G. This is the Rein character, and also I defined a completely different characters. For example, this one is the Ij character which I use for Rein, as well as for S. And then here I used sorry, the S dot above. Why S dot above? Because this 4, number 4 in American keyboard, when a shift is pressed, this is the dollar character. So therefore I decided that dollar could be used as a S symbol. S dot above means that this is the ash sound, that is the sheen letter from the Arabic alphabet. As well as I also defined, for example, here also the apostrophe for apostrophe character for glottal stop, and also defined an alternative glottal stop here for this character. And this actually this is the official international phonetic alphabet symbols for the small letter glottal stop and the capital letter glottal stop characters. It's really up to you to decide to use it. And now what I am going to show you, that I also want to define the Q character, the Q, which is the kaf in standard Arabic or classical Arabic language. This sound is not pronounced ka in Egyptian Arabic, at least not in every case. In Al-Qahira, there it is pronounced, but in a number of other places it is just simply pronounced as glottal stop. So to make the distinction, because my approach here is to use a phonetically reproducible system, I decided that I'd love to preserve the letter Q. For example, when the Al-Qahira is written when in Egyptian colloquial Arabic, it is written with the Q and pronounced with the K sound. However, every other places where it is pronounced as glottal stop, I would suggest to use this Q dot above. This way the Q symbol, the Q letter is remained, so therefore whoever have a look can immediately see that this consonant, actually these are consonant, is coming from the classical Arabic kaf, and therefore even in script it is retained that this is a glottal stop sound, but originally came from the kaf. And why is it important? It is, in my opinion, terribly important, but because with this dot above, you can have the option to mark that in that specific dialect, the glottal stop is used. However, when you want to check out the spelling, it gives you a clue that originally in classical Arabic, this was written with the kaf letter, and then that's in practical reason it's very important. One of the important reason, a practical reason to maintain it, that in other dialects this ka is pronounced either just regular ka sound or can be pronounced as g. In some Egyptian dialects it is pronounced g. Here I introduced another version of this sound. I defined this Control Alt dot, and then this is the double Unicode character. And the trick is that this Unicode character 0308 is a diacritic marker, and then this diacritic marker you can read a lot about in this. It's a fancy and brilliant feature of the Unicode system, that practically any letter can be dotted, double dotted, below, under, using these symbols. So therefore that's the trick here, that with this keyboard I defined that this is the Q character, and then with this other symbol is the double dot above. Again, here is the capital Q letter and plus the double dots above. And then this symbol is what I'd love to use for the g sound. However, and as mentioned, this is typical in southern Egyptian dialect. So this is the reason we have here this double Unicode character. So when it is done, you can simply save it, save source file, it is saved, and then the next step is to validate a layout, and possibly it's going to complain that verification failed, the log is located. Would you like to see the log? Yes, let's have a look. Is already defined more than once on the keyboard. Okay, let me just explain. And one important error, the keyboard name LAT Egypt is already in use in this machine. So therefore, before being able to install it, I have to remove and uninstall it. I will do it shortly, but before going, let's check out this D, why I have these double definitions. Okay, and then the reason I have this double definition, for the D letter I defined D dot under and D dot under. However, I just noticed that the Shift Control Alt dot under, so this character doesn't work on my computer. I don't know why. Maybe for Windows this is a special keyboard combination, so therefore it simply doesn't produce this capital dot under symbol. So therefore I defined alternatively under the B exactly the same. So therefore on my keyboard definition, just as a workaround, I defined D dot under for the B letter either. So the whole this thing is an experimental. So if someone really would love to create in the future, maybe in 20 or 50 years, some Egyptian politicians or official or movement decides that, just like the Turkish movements in the early 20th century decide to create a Latin alphabet for Egyptian Arabic, then they would definitely, in my opinion, use a bit different layout. But this is the symbolism I am suggesting for that. So therefore, being able to go ahead and build the dynamic link library, and therefore the first thing is that I have to uninstall this keyboard. I just use simply the add and remove programs, because this is the Latin Egyptian. I expect that it should be, yes, Latin Egyptian Arabic. Just click it and uninstall it. Yes, it's been uninstalled. Let's check out if yes, it has been removed from this language list of languages, and then let's come back and then validate again the layout. Yes, the log. And here you go. In this log I have only this warning that I have this double definition, which is okay for now. And then let's build a dynamic link library, dynamic link DLL, and the setup package. Yes, let's open. This is what it created. Documents LAT Egypt. And this is where it created a scene. This is today, generated right away, and the way you can just simply double click setup, and then this setup would install installation complete, close. Okay, and my understanding was that yes, and this is immediately available. So therefore, let me just open Notepad. You have to select this alphabet and then go back, Alt Q. Here you go. We have the dot, and then with Shift, Alt Shift Q. Here is the, and then with double dot, Alt dot. With double and Shift Alt dot, here you go, and also Alt A and Alt Shift A, Alt 3 and Alt Shift 3. This is the capital Ein, and then this Ash, the Sheen is Ash and Algier Ash, and also the Sod and Sod and Dod and Alt Shift. Yes, this is what it doesn't work, so here I have to Shift Algier. There you go, and the Dod and Algier H, and what else? Yes, for K is a K, and then Algier K, and this is for the H character for the Hein. Yes, these are my special characters. Of course, the regular Q is for the calf. So that's my suggested system for in Arabic characters. So therefore, and also, okay, for the this is what I suggest for the glottal stop, the apostrophe character, as well as the standard symbolism. This is the small letter for glottal stop, and the capital version is this. This is the capital version. It's really an alternative. Both are okay. This is more visible, more specific, and however this one, in my opinion, could fit. This is, in my system, this is only for Hamzas, where the Hamza is double, so very rarely used, because every other case I suggest where Kaf was used originally, I would suggest to use this symbol, the Q dot, for the glottal stop, rather than this. This is only, for example, Sa'al, or alternatively, it's really up to you which one do you prefer. This is again the International Phonetic Alphabet, and a number of Arabic transcript system uses this letter. However, a number of other places this is a lot more convenient. It looks more natural than this special symbol. And the dots, this is the only letter which looks a bit strange at first. However, if you have ever learned Arabic, then this this shape is almost the same as the Ain letters, Arabic Ain letter shape. So therefore, and it's absolutely it wasn't invented me. This was originally first used by Professor Mitchell, who wrote the first excellent and brilliant detailed Egyptian grammar in the 60s, and he used and promoted this letter, and also a couple of other linguists adopted this shape, this letter, for the transcript of the Ain character. And the reason we need this dot is that because in Arabic there are two A's. One is a light, more like an A, for example, kitab or katab. However, in a number of other places, il-Qahira, this is the A, the like in an English father. This is the emphatic A. That's why I use here the dots. And what in my opinion is an elegance in my system, I use exclusively dots as a diacritics, and nothing else. And dots are so common in Egyptian, I mean in Arabic alphabet, so this should be natural to the Arabic or Egyptian people to use dots rather than any special diacritics. So thank you, that was all, and have fun and take care.